are saying. Listen to this. Now, according to the new Washington Post poll, 67% support Clinton to stay in if she wins just one race, and 45% say she should stay even if she loses Texas and Ohio. Now, let's look at the flip side. You've got Bill Richardson, Obama supporters, and even the Clinton's own husband, Bill Clinton, saying that she needs to win big tonight or it could be the end. What do you think of the difference in what the everyday Jane Joe, what we like to call them, and what these pundits are saying?
Well, I think voters don't really pay much attention at this point to delegate counts. What they pay attention to is the messages of each of these candidates. And I think that Hillary Clinton in the past 48 hours has had a message that has resonated with a lot of voters, undecided voters in particular, in Ohio and Texas. The message of whether Barack Obama is fit and ready to be commander-in-chief and whether he's sincere in what he says about the North American Free Trade Agreement. If she wins these two contests in Ohio and Texas, you can certainly expect, Tamron, for her to carry that message forward into Pennsylvania on April 22nd.
All right, John, thank you for your time. Well, outside today's Junior Super Tuesday, there are some other lingering storylines for the Democrats that could be landmines in the very near future. Now, Florida Democrats voted in the state's primary back on January 29th, and that might be a chance for them now to vote again. Now, the state pushed the primary date ahead of party-sanctioned date of February 5th. So the DNC, we know the story, punished Florida by stripping delegates of their votes at this summer's convention. But now the whispers of a do-over are getting louder with the race between Clinton and Obama still so close. Well, Hillary Rosen is a political strategist and a Hillary Clinton supporter. So Senator Clinton has been saying that Florida delegates should be seated in the Democratic convention. She won, of course, we know the numbers, 50% to Obama's 33, and you've got Edwards with 13%. It's natural because she won that she would want them to count. But if the party made the rule that Florida should not count and punish Florida, why do it in the first place if you're going to let them count in the end?
Well, first, I don't speak for the Clinton campaign, so I'm just giving you my own analysis, Tamron. But you know, I think there's a case to be made, unlike Michigan, where the Democrats in the state really chose on their own to move their primary date. In Florida, it really was the Republican legislature and the Republican governor who forced the Democrats to change their primary date. So there is a case to be made that Florida Democrats went to the polls, they participated, and therefore, you know, there's no reason for them to have this kind of do-over. Also, you know, there is an option for the DNC to seat those delegates without their vote or to take away some of the delegates. So there are a lot of options, I think, available to the DNC, short of going through the exhausting process of actually having a do-over, which I don't think anybody in Florida really wants, and I don't think that the campaigns themselves particularly want.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Hillary, because all the Democrats running actually pledged that they would not actively campaign in Florida because of the situation. But Senator Clinton did campaign. Now, I got to ask you this. There are some people who think that this may have always been a part of her plan, that if the race turned out to be close between herself and Barack Obama, that she would have Florida as a backup plan. What do you think of folks who say that?
Yeah, first of all, like I said, it wasn't Senator Clinton's decision to move the primary. They couldn't have had this sort of Machiavellian process because it was actually the Republicans who changed the rules. But, you know, I think neither one of them campaigned there. There was some spillover from national ads that Obama ran, so you could argue that Barack Obama campaigned there. She had a private fundraiser or two there, so you could argue that she campaigned there. But I think mostly neither one of them really campaigned there. But Florida is critically important for Democrats in November, and I think the last thing that Democrats ought to do is just completely discount Florida, you know, over these next few months, because that's a state we really can win and should win in November.
Hillary, you mentioned the Republicans, and you've got the Republican governor of Florida, Charlie Crist, saying that, you know, he would agree to a do-over, and there's, again, some speculation out there because he does and he has endorsed John McCain, that this could be some type of setup, that, you know, he wants a do-over because it would, you know, protract out this race or elongate this race and cause problems. So do you think that he's setting the Democratic Party up?
No question. I think the hypocrisy of the governor, who actually threatened to veto any legislation that the legislature brought him if it didn't move the primary date, to now say, oh, well, let's have this do-over. The Republicans clearly want this campaign to go on. Just for one, I'll give you one statistic to close with, which is that in the last month, Democrats, between Obama and Clinton, have raised $85 million to essentially fight each other. And we've raised $5 million for the DNC to fight Republicans. So the Republicans have every incentive, I think, to keep, that thing going.
Yeah, Hillary. All right, thank you for your time. Well,